Well, let's queer up the USA. View New Hampshire official quits after receiving homophobic threats on dead son. In a contentious turn of events, the town manager of Littleton, New Hampshire, Jim Gleason, has tendered his resignation amid a controversy surrounding LGBTQ+-themed public art. The dispute, which escalated into including derogatory remarks about Gleason's late gay son, led to his decision to step down, with his last day being set for February 2nd. The controversy stemmed from paintings commissioned by the local LGBTQ+ group North Country Pride. The Board of Selectmen member Carrie Gendreau called these paintings demonic and also deemed homosexuality an abomination. These paintings appeared near a restaurant in downtown Littleton. Gendreau defended a resident who made hateful comments to Gleason in October about a production of Cage Aux Folles by Theater Up at the municipally owned Littleton Opera House. She demanded Gleason shut it down, but Gleason rejected the demand, saying it would violate First Amendment free speech rights. In response, she insulted Gleason's deceased son, stating he belonged in hell with the devil amidst accusations of discussing an art ban. Some board members have denied such intentions, attributing them to rumors. Board member Roger Emerson clarified that a ban was never considered, though some members hinted at potential citizen voting on art regulations in the future. The events in Littleton, New Hampshire seem to be a growing trend of anti-LGBTQ+ hate in rural areas of America, especially from evangelicals. Well, there's no question that the Pandora's box has been opened, and as in any place where you're looking to scapegoat people, you look for the easiest group in your community to attack. And I would imagine that in Littleton, New Hampshire, which probably no one has ever heard of until now, they're not a thriving gay community, so it's an easy community to attack. And when you scare people enough, when you make people uncomfortable enough, they act out in fear. And fear is always a dangerous response because it shows ignorance. Yeah. And people who dislike their children, their siblings, their neighbors, simply because of who they love, have a lot of serious things to think about. And that kind of fear is extraordinarily dangerous because it breaks up families, it breaks up communities, and it hurts society in general.
You know whose fault this is? Trump's. It's Trump's fault, okay? He opened up that box that you've spoken about, Robert, okay? In essence, right? He allowed it to be okay to hate, right? People used to do that shit behind closed doors, and now people don't. You know, someone losing their son, that used to be off limits. You know, that was kind of like, okay, no, you know, no children. Let's not mess with somebody's, you know, deceased person. Now it doesn't matter. It's at all costs, we will bring you down. We will stop you. Jim Gleason, please don't quit. We need more of you. We need more people that are fighting for us, that are representing for us, that are out there being who they are. I am so sorry for your loss and that there are hateful, awful people. But you can get past this and you can fight harder.
Well, yeah, and demonic abomination herself, Carrie Gendreau, the zealot on the Board of Selectmen, who has been vocal in her hateful remarks, is a follower of the cult known as Messianic Judaism, which is the ultimate contradiction in terms. You're either Jewish or you believe in Jesus. You can't do both.
You know, she it's easy to say her name is not Carrie, it's Karen, because she is a total Karen. But, you know, this gets back to a discussion of New Hampshire. You know, they are very activist on both sides of the political scale. And it probably, that tide there probably shifts in and out more than any other particular state in the country. They've got like 420 some members of their state legislature, and it will swing back and forth because they only represent about 4,000 people per district. So don't dismiss her, you know, and because she is one of those people that knows that expression of art is an expression as a way to expand thinking. And if the last 10 years of the GOP has taught us anything, is that they want to narrow public thought. They want to narrow the consciousness that we're able to live in
Yeah.
and try to thrive. And they're stopping us at every turn.
You know,
And
this reminds me of back when the Matthew Shepard. You know, it brings back those memories of people protesting and demonizing, you know, people that have been killed, you know, and have died, and that, you know, they have parents that are still grieving. This is the worst kind of, you know, so-called Christians. Shame on this woman. I mean, shame on them for, you know, for doing this to this poor man. I mean, how can you do that?
His life's already been hard enough with that loss. Yeah.
And I think it's also important not to call them Republicans, not to call them the GOP. The GOP regulars are not in the party anymore.
No, these are the regulars. The MAGA fascists are the regulars of the GOP now.
The Republicans believed in the Constitution. These people do not. Republicans believed in the rule of law. These people do not. They can call themselves whatever they want. You can call them whatever you want to call them. But they are not Americans in the strictest sense of what American political thought was. These are extremists. And they need to be called extremists, because when we call them Republicans, we give them credibility of being part of a political party that has been part of this country since Abraham Lincoln. And they are not that party, and they are not mainstream political people in this country. They are extremists. These people are as radical to the right as anybody has ever been representing anything in this country, and they do not represent the vast majority of Americans, but they do try to scare them into not voting. They do try to scare them into staying home and being quiet, because these people are loud and they are violent and they are crude. And they, as you said, they do not want education. No. They are opposed to public education. They are pro-book bans. They are pro-closing public schools and public libraries, because they do not want people to have information, because information to them is the curse that will ban them from existence. And the less people know and the more frightened people are, the better they are. They want sheep, not cats.
Thank you, Robert.